Now, they do not yet use solar energy as primary energy, but they still use their gas. But heat is heat, yes, wherever it comes from. So this waste heat, if it comes from a solar plant, would do the same job as if it would be coming from a oil or gas power plant. And now, so they need to make the transition to use solar energy to power to run their power plants, and then to build a solar thermal power plant. The time, it could be about between 1 and 2 years. It depends on the size, but in 1 to 2 years, one could really build a complete solar power plant and solar thermal power plant together with the desalination. So this is much faster than building nuclear power plants, where you need about 10 years. So you can much faster increase the total capacity when going the solar way, as in comparison to going the nuclear way.
All right. In April, you've had a conference promoting this project. Could you please tell us how is the current energy industry and politicians, governments, how are they inclined towards these propositions?
Well, some are beginning to realize that we cannot continue, and as we did in the past. And so they begin. There are some big companies who are now going into the production of solar collectors to make steam for power plants, and so it is beginning in Spain. So some more than in total some 50, I think around 50 power plants are under development or under construction. So Spain has relatively good sun, and it has a feed-in regulation, which makes it easy for investors to have the business case. In the oil-rich countries, they have enough money; they could do it right away, but they are not in a desperate situation because they also have oil and gas, so they go slow. But if oil and gas is getting more and more expensive, they now notice that they better sell their oil and gas and get money instead of just burning it for electricity and desalination, while they could also be using solar energy, which in fact already is cheaper than using oil. So if a solar power plant right now with the present oil would be cheaper than electricity from such a solar power plant would be cheaper than electricity from an oil-fired power plant.
All right. A few days ago, the Union for Mediterranean was set up, although very few of its policies are known, and it's why it will be put forth. But do you find it to be helpful for the pursuit of this project?
The first effects that it had point exactly in this direction, because there is now this issue of a cooperation between Europe and North Africa. So far was politically not wanted even by the European Union. And it was not supported at all. Now it has become an official deal, or an official plan of the European Union to cooperate with countries on the southern Mediterranean side for this purpose. So, and that will make it possible that then the problems like investment security or transmission and setting up transmission lines will also be solved, since now there is a political will to have this, to get this going. So the political will to get this going has been declared, and of course it is not there yet, but that is now a question of the next 1 or 2 years to see how strong these countries now will embrace this opportunity. And with the fossil fuel prices being so high as now, they all have a really interest to come to the use of solar energy, because solar energy will, once you have built your power plant, it is independent of, it will not have rising costs, because the main costs are capital costs. On this you have a long-term contract, and it does not have to pay for fuel costs, which you cannot control. And so for a secure energy supply, not only in terms of availability, but also in terms of price, the interest is high to have solar thermal power plants. And countries like Algeria and Morocco and Tunisia are really